So, it's been a while since the last Devlog, but don't you worry, I've been using the time I spent away from uploading completely focused on working, and definitely not on playing enough Satisfactory for my brain to turn to mush, or to play through the Persona 3 DLC and the Metaphor demo, and definitely not rotting away on Overwatch. But you're not here to listen to me whine about how I suck at managing my time, so let's actually talk about the game. For those who are new here, I'm building Mini Factories, which is a high-score chasing factory builder meant to scratch at automation issue without the multi-hundred hour long time investment. Anyways, in the previous devlog I mentioned how crafting was something I was already working on, and the way I ended up implementing it is pretty unique, I think, so let's talk about that first. At its core, Mini Factories is a game about utilizing a limited space, so I had to design the crafter in a way that makes it work well with the limited space instead of clashing with it. Because of this I couldn't just make a big bulky box with multiple inputs, which is what factory games usually go for. After many iterations, what I ended up doing is something I dubbed the modular combiner. The way it works is that the player places the crafter down, which is a 1x1 building with an input and an output. Then they can drag two adjacent crafters together to combine them. Each combiner can be set to take any item in the game, and the combination of the items is what forms the recipes. For example, one copper makes a copper wire, and 2 iron makes some screws. With this system we get those nice and complex multi-item recipes, while still respecting the space limits because we only use 1 tile per item needed. I'll go over how I got this implemented for those who are curious. The crafter, just like every other building in the game, is hooked up to the tick system. However, unlike the other buildings, its tick function only gets called when some specific conditions are met. These conditions are it being an output slot and it having a valid recipe. You might be wondering what I mean by it being an output slot. Since the system allows an infinite number of crafters to be connected together, I can just have an output slot on every single crafter. But items still need to come out somewhere, so I allowed the player to set any of the connected crafters to have the slot where the items will come out of. In code, it's just a simple boolean, and visually I just use a simple cube to hide the output slot on all the other crafters. And for the recipes I have a scripted object for each of them that specify their inputs and their output. And when a crafter is modified, I loop through all the recipes, checking if any of them match our current inputs. I only have 3 recipes implemented so far, so I'm still unsure how much difficulty crafting has, but so far I've had a lot more fun playtesting with it than before it was implemented. Well, I think I've gone over all the interesting bits, so let's move over to the other big feature I've worked on recently, which is custom maps. Calling these custom maps might be a bit of a stretch, since for now the editor can only save to data holders and specify inside Unity, but it's still a custom editor that runs in the game, and with some fix it will be able to save to a custom file format. The editor is nothing special, it's just an empty scene with a toolbar and a few buttons to select if you want to place a buildable area, an edge area, or a spawn position. When saving I just make the release to keep track of the position and the rotation of all the build zones, all the edge zones and all the spawn zones, and when loading I actually load in all the thousands of individual cubes placed, then I combine them into one mesh. Hearing this you might think, oh god, but what about all the sides that aren't seen? Which is a valid concern, but due to the maximum amount of stuff that the area allows, it isn't really an issue. Having the weapon enabled or disabled doesn't make a performance difference in the slightest. Well, I think I've gone over all the bigger bits, but before I end the video I have one pretty cool announcement. Getting feedback is one of the most important things when building a game, which is why I decided to release a free test build. You can download it at this link, which should be in the description too. Just keep in mind that this is an early test version, so I expect bugs and unfinished things. Also, sorry if this video was too short considering how long it's been since the last one. I struggled with making vids like this since I absolutely despise my voice, and listening back to it over and over again feels like being put in a brazen bull. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. YouTube's algorithm is really harsh on new channels, so a single like can make or break how this video performs.